Good morning, Nigeria. It's a vibrant midweek edition of Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. My name is Akwa Ibom, and we're ready to guide you through the refreshing Wednesday morning, bringing you the top stories, the depth, the conversations that keep you informed and ahead of the day.
Definitely, and whether you're powering through the midweek or so, settling into your workspace or tuning in from home, we're grateful to be your trusted morning companion. Let's make your Wednesday count.
Absolutely, it has to count. We begin with a political thunderbolt shaking the national space. Yes, it is breaking news. Fubara defects to APC, All Progressives Congress. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has officially crossed from the PDP to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, a move that is already sparking intense debate and recalculations across Nigeria's political terrain. Why now? What's the ripple effect? And how does this shift alter the power map heading into 2026? We'll break it down and answer all the questions, perhaps attempt to answer the questions.
Definitely. We'll check in on today's weather across major cities to help you plan your midweek movement.
Yes, then it's Daybreak News, a crisp roundup of stories shaping Nigeria, Africa, and the world at large.
Definitely. And in our newspaper review and analysis, we're joined by seasoned public affairs analyst Afolabi, who will help us decode the front pages and the deeper issues behind the headlines.
Yes, today's big story takes us to the heart of regional security and continental diplomacy under the theme Beyond Borders. Senate approval of Tinubu's troop deployment request and Nigeria's evolving role in African unity. With the Senate giving the green light for troop deployment to Benin Republic, Nigeria is stepping into a complex conversation about leadership, responsibility, and the future of African cooperation. Is this a sign of stronger regional solidarity or a move that could reshape power dynamics across West Africa?
That's a big question. Joining us to unpack all of that is Honorable Kunle Olatunji, Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to Senator Yunus Akintade and former Special Assistant on Media to the late former Governor of your state, Senator Abiola Ajimobi. His perspective will shed light on both the political and diplomatic layers of this unfolding story.
Then we'll close the show with Trend Watch. You know, like we say, we watch the trend. Midweek digest of what Nigerians are buzzing about online and what's making the headlines across social media.
Stay with us. There is Midweek Energy, Midweek Insight, and Midweek Clarity on Daybreak Live.
You're watching Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. So let's get started.
Exactly.
Good morning to you.
Good morning,
this morning.
Well done.
Yemi, how are you?
I'm very well. Yeah, so this morning we are looking at something that a lot of persons or a lot of Nigerians saw coming, because I'm not shocked. I don't know about you, that Governor Siminalayi Fubara defected, to the APC. Over the weeks or even the past few months, it was obvious. For a lot of Nigerians, they even felt like maybe he would have defected months ago, immediately after it was reinstated as the governor. And then a lot of Nigerians feel that, okay, maybe he's decided to say that I want to defect to this party, because according to him, I watched the video yesterday and he said something very cogent. He said, we are tired of supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, through the backyard. We want to support him fully now, according to him. Let's also not forget that recently, all 16 members of the House of Assembly, Rivers State, also defected to the APC. The same set of persons, when Fubara was going through impeachment process, that said, oh, we have nothing to do with the APC. They all defected. And even the Speaker of the House, that's Martin Amawele, also defected to the APC. So, some people are saying, what do you expect Fubara to do in that, situation when all members of the, House of Assembly defected to the APC? And one more thing, Nigerians are also asking, even analysts, if you like, they're saying maybe Fubara decided to move to the APC because, because of Wiki. Because they feel like Wike is so close to Tinubu, and that's why he can do and not do to him. So he wants to defect fully to the party and have the support. Other persons are also saying that Fubara felt betrayed by the PDP, to say that the PDP could not save him in that situation of impeachment. He went through a lot. Then we got to know that the president had some meetings with him and his principal, that's Wike, and that was how he was able to come back, to become the governor. So it's a lot to unpack. And then I want us to compare certain things, looking at this defection, because if you listen to these governors that have moved from the PDP to the APC in the last few months, they have similarities and differences. Let's start with their similarities now. Let's talk about Duoye Siri. moving from the PDP to the APC. It was like, oh, the PDP is a sinking boat, and then it has been hijacked by some undertakers, that are hell-bent on destroying the party. So there's need to align my people with the center. Let's also talk about, Governor Umo Eno, of Akwa Ibom State. He also said, he came out publicly to say, there's a need for me to align with the center, and that's why I'm moving to the APC. Let's also talk about, certain governors that have defected. Even this morning, I was reading a story speaking about Governor Agbuskef of Taraba State. Let me read it to you. The Taraba State chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Ibrahim Tuko, has confirmed that Governor Agbuskef will formally join the party in January 2026. So PDP might be left with 5 governors and then only 1 southern governor. That's Makinde. Others, we have Bauchi State, that's Bala Mohammed. We have Fintiri of Adamawa State, and then 2 other persons. So it's a sad one, because Nigerians are saying, are we moving to a one-party state? I don't think that is going to happen, because the Labour Party, still have Alex Soti, and of course Abga as, this Chukuma Soludo, and of course we know Kano, has, Abakabe Yusuf. So it's a lot to unpack to see that these people are defecting. Another defection that we saw yesterday that is a little bit shocking is that of Adeleke. I mean, we know the reasons why Adeleke defected. Of course, PDP is in shambles. PDP is going through a lot now. So it was obvious that it cannot contest under the People's Democratic Party. But speaking about Fubara, we can only speculate. We can really not say this is the exact reason why he's defected. Though he mentioned to say that, okay, I want to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that's why I'm defected to the party. So good luck to Fubara. I mean, he's been welcome, to the APC, honestly.
Well, I guess it's okay to say that we've envisaged this. We knew this was going to happen, maybe not with the particular persons that are making the defection as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But we saw this coming, especially when it seems like there's been a trajectory of a one-party state system, and nobody is speaking against it, especially at the federal level, because it's more like people are saying you're doing well and we want to join your party. We want to pitch our tent where you pitch yours. We want to jump on the bandwagon of the APC because we know the party is doing what we think is right, especially for the Nigerian people. So now, just like you mentioned, Ademola Adeleke was moved to Accord. There's been that claim also. We had the conversation yesterday where there were questions about why Ademola Adeleke did not react when the First Lady, kind of disrupted him while he was trying to make his own speech at the time in Osun State. But every other thing we are seeing at this time, and it seems like defections are yet to come. We've not seen the best of them. Maybe someday, somehow, soon enough, we'll get to see some more. Because some have also alleged that there's a chance that over 16 or 18 governors, or should we say 20 governors, would become party members of the All Progressives Congress eventually. There's been that claim, there's been that envisage, and we're also counting on that to see if that would happen. But I want to speak to the issue of a one-party state system. While it holds many benefits, especially for political leaders, it doesn't hold so much for an average Nigerian, because who gets to question power, who gets to question authority, who gets to question what's being done wrong, and who gets to say, can you do it better? Because when everybody is now in a centralized system, there seems to be, yes, the politicians will enjoy from this, some of them will get, but there's also a problem in that as well. And the problem is the APC might have problems with giving positions to people, because there's only, maybe there's only a limited seat for at the national level, for example. So it's for people who have been one-time governors that probably wants to move to the federal level, maybe for appointment and all that. There's not so much to go around because everybody has moved to this party. And, it also begs the question of, suppressed opposition, where other parties, especially during elections, will not have so much power, because this current incumbent government will do everything it's possible best to still encourage its dominance, to still continue to foster its dominance across board, because they would not want to let power go. But should we also say, I think that was the first thing I wanted to say, is it the death of a giant for the People's Democratic Party? Is this the fall of an elephant for the People's Democratic Party? We've seen Wike again come again in the news recently, saying that he's still a member of the People's Democratic Party, and then is still willing to do. They're trying to do the faction. They're trying to work on some other things to maybe restructure, refurbish, or to reinvigorate that particular party. But all of this now, it seems, should we say, that PDP is already letting go. even if they are not, it seems like the odds are stacked against them in a lot of ways. But let's take it also one step. I wanted to speak again and again to the issue of one-party state system, how that it doesn't really benefit eventually. But anyway, maybe this is a call, or this is a chance for another party to rise and stand to, shoulder to shoulder, and stand shoulder to shoulder to try to see if they can actually weigh so much, especially in this particular situation. When as we see now, when Siminalayi Fubara was making that, I saw a lot of persons right there, chanting and then singing and rejoicing. Sometimes I wonder why our leaders. Yeah, I understand that. We all understand that the PDP is currently in crisis. They have issues that they are not resolving. But I can assure you, maybe not a prophetic person now, but I will tell you for a fact that soon enough, the APC might have its own share of problems, and it might be big because they are big names. This is a trajectory we've seen again and again. This is not the first time we're hearing about defection, but there's something I always say, and I'll keep saying it, that it seems we don't run ideological party system in the country, which is why we have all of these defections happening. For you to move, for example, in the United States, to move from being a Democrat to being a Republican, then you have to say, I'm letting go of some certain things that I've held strongly. The things, the belief I've always had about this party, I'm letting it go, and I'm taking something because I feel is more superior to whatever I've always believed. I think we do not run that. And I know this is, of course, a problem for us, because if anybody can just wake up after a cup of tea or after a short nap to say, you know what, I'm joining another party, and there's no check, there's no balance, there's nobody that is saying we want to check if you are credible or if you are without blemish, because it seems like anybody that comes with sin can be forgiven, especially when they come to the center stage, which is the APC as we speak now. So if anybody comes even with a crime, if there's maybe there's an allegation or there's a case against the person, you can be sure that that case is going to die a natural death, especially when they move to the. So some of them are not just moving for political reasons; they are moving for clemency, for pardon. Some of them they know soon enough, maybe the next administration in their state, for example, will call them to question. We'll question them and question some of the things they've done. We've seen this before. The former Benue State Governor, I've forgotten this name now. The former Benue State Governor, before Hyacinth, also had a fair share of this. There was a call for how did you spend the money of the state and a lot of that. But eventually, once they get to move to the center, it seems everything will die down. The cases will be swept under the carpet. And I think it's high time we probably ask questions again, or put them on the table, or put them to discuss to say, can we have it better? I was speaking about Samuel Otom, the former Benue State Governor. There's a chance we need to now start having conversations about what does it mean if you join the center stage? What does it mean for your political career? And what does it mean for the people? In the sense that if there's a case against you, will it die? Can we still uphold the case and check and let the court of law do justice to that, instead of just saying, once you come, then everything is settled? I still want to ask the question again, to maybe throw the question to Nyesom Wike of the Federal Capital Territory, to ask what exactly Wike is doing with the PDP. Because some have also alleged that Wike has been the major problem. It's been the cause of the root cause of the issue in PDP. While Wike is saying no, there are some persons that are coming through the window. They are not original members. They have not done so much for this party. It's we, in the sense that have done so much, and we are going to stand by our party regardless of what's happening. But what can PDP do? So I want to look beyond the APC right now. I want to check, what can the PDP do? What can Accord do? What can every other party do to ensure that this situation will be well managed come 2027. We want a competitive election. We don't want just a walkover for any party. We want you to really do the work. We want you to put your neck to the work. We want you to really face whatever you have to face, dance to the beat of whatever you have to dance to, ensure that you do so much to win. We don't just want a walkover for anybody, regardless of party. We want something more competitive in the country.
Okay, speaking of Wike now, I think the current chairman of the People's Democratic Party said something a few days ago to say that those persons that we have expelled and given a certificate of expulsion, we are giving them the right to look for other political parties to join. I mean, maybe it was difficult for them to join, still being members of the party, but then we expel them for that same reason. So they are free to choose any political party they want to belong to. And then speaking of one-party state, I don't think I want to agree with the fact that Nigeria might actually, get to that point of operating, one-party system. Why do I say so? Adeleke, for instance, defected to the Akwa party. Before that, I think most of the supporters, they go on radio and TV to say that, okay, our principal might actually defect to either Accord or APGA, because obviously PDP, he cannot contest on the PDP. So why am I saying this? After he defected yesterday, you need to go online. I saw comments. Some persons are saying that looking at Accord as a party, let's not forget that Osun is a very peculiar state when it comes to elections. So they are saying that Accord doesn't have that strong political footing in Osun State. Talk about grassroots presence. But then I don't want to agree with them. It's up to Adeleke. I want to believe that, he had good deliberations, because according to him, I read his tweet, because he said, they had to deliberate, extensively, with opinion leaders and, of course, party members to see that, okay, is Accord the way forward? So if he decided to defect to Accord, I think it's up to him. So why am I saying this? Regardless of whatsoever it is that PDP is going through at this time, I still want to agree that the party is dead. Why am I saying so? Because you cannot rule out the fact that when it comes to grassroots presence, honestly, forget it. PDP has it. Yes, APC also has it. And then before now, whatever it is that APC is going through or PDP is going through at this moment in time, APC, or let me say that party that came to, all the parties that came together, the CPC, the ACN, they also went through the same thing. There was a time, APC currently has about 25 governors now. There was a time that PDP had something similar, maybe close or even more. So what do you make of that? So it can tilt at any point in time. This is politics. Let's look at the next few years. So we are going to see more defections. I bet it with you that more persons will move to the PDP. They are just waiting for PDP to be settled at this point in time. And looking at maybe the body language, they are still going through a lot. But then before 2027, you see more defections. People will move to the PDP. Because this is politics and interests will always clash. And that's why he said, I don't know, there's one thing that I always say about the APC, because to the public now, apparently that party is settled internally and externally. But I bet with you that there are problems going on internally. But then APC is so, I don't know how they are doing it. They have a way of making sure that their problems are not obvious to the public. Because to them, it matters to them how people view their political party. But then that is what PDP is lacking. PDP, once anything happens, is out there. They don't know how to settle issues amicably within. And that is what is affecting the party, the ego of the stakeholders of that party. But APC has a way of bringing people together and showing that their problems, doesn't get outside. Not like maybe we don't get to hear about issues going on with the PDP, but it's not so constant like the way we have with PDP and even Labour Party. In the last few months, we've not heard anything about Labour Party, honestly, and it's sad.
But we can also address the issue by saying that, APC is in power as we speak, so they control to a very large extent the media.
Yeah.
And well, like you mentioned too, they have a very good PR system, especially in recent times. We've seen how they've been able to coordinate them. So even when they had crisis, even when this present administration started with the fuel subsidy removal, and it became a big deal, and some other party members, some other parties and opposition parties, I meant to say, are trying to use that as a loophole to bring their credibility down. They still held their ground in this sense. So I wanted to speak to what does it take to have a one-party state system in the country? You mentioned about 20 plus governors. How many states do we have in the country? Yes, so if we have, mathematically, we can say that it's a one-party state system that is currently ongoing in the country. Because if we have we have 36 states. So what's the average of 36? Like, for example, let's say if we have 20 is more than average. So it's more than average of, so if you have 20 governors already, that's more likely a one-party state. I might want to maybe posit that because of mathematically speaking now. Because if you have more than half in this party to maybe over 50%, it means like you can speak for the whole. Maybe not a general, or a hasty generalization in a sense, but you can speak like, oh yeah, this is more like a one-party state system. But let me move away from that to speak about Siminalayi Fubara very briefly. Fubara, especially when he had the issue, the suspension of that particular government and how that the president came in. But even before he made this particular notice, I think a couple of days back, he was with the president and they had a conversation in Asurok. Yes, that could also have meant that they sat down to say, okay, so let's check the pros and cons. What can you offer? what can you bring to the table? So everybody puts everything on the table. This is what I have to offer, and this is what we can offer you. So there's an arrangement that would benefit both parties. But let me take it from there to say, Siminalayi Fubara is, some have said it would not really be so outspoken or expressive after the old fracas and the issues that went on behind the scenes and all this. They said it was not going to be more prominent than it was before. But I guess this is a sharp move, if you ask me, for Fubara to also defect to the party. But, you know, I'm still harping on that issue before I round up my thoughts, that a one-party state system, I don't think is the best way to go for a democratic society like the Nigerian state that we have currently.
Okay, thank you so much. I think you're very spot on, and it's a fine place to leave it this morning. That okay, we don't want a one-party state, and then we don't want it to happen because we want Nigerians to have choice. So some Nigerians vote for party, some Nigerians vote for individuals. So it's left to the electorate to decide. It's a fine place to leave that discussion this morning. Let's move on to weather reports.